This year will not change unless you change the structure that controls your life. Planning isn't your problem. Your problem is that plans collapse the moment reality pushes back. You don't need more goals, more notebooks, or more motivation. You need a system. A structure that forces progress, removes choice, and makes discipline the default. This audiobook is not about dreaming. It is about building the architecture of a life that moves forward, every day without negotiation. If you're ready to stop planning your life and finally structure it, then listen closely. This is the year you take control. Stop planning and start structuring. You've been told to plan your life, to plan your goals, to plan your future. But here's the truth you've never been taught. Planning is not your problem. Your structure is. A plan depends on how you feel when it's time to act. A structure doesn't care about your feelings. A structure doesn't need your permission. A structure doesn't ask for your motivation. It simply runs. Every year, millions of people make plans. And every year, the same people abandon those plans when life gets uncomfortable. Why? Because a plan is fragile. A plan is emotional. A plan collapses the moment reality applies pressure. But structure? Structure survives pressure. Structure absorbs resistance. Structure carries you when your mood disappears. That's the key. Structure over intention. Say it again. Structure over intention. If your life is not moving, it is not because you didn't plan well. It's because you never built the structure that forces the plan to happen. Think of elite athletes. Think of top performers. Think of the military. Do you think they rely on motivation? Do you think they wait to feel ready? Do you think they wake up and ask themselves, "Do I feel like doing this today?" No, they don't ask. They don't negotiate. They execute because they live inside a structure that makes execution automatic. You have a choice. You can keep building plans that depend on your mood, or you can build a structure that doesn't require your mood at all. Look at Olympic swimmers. Most swim at 5 a.m. Not because they feel like it, but because the structure tells them when to get in the pool. And they obey the structure. Because obeying the structure produces the result. Look at Navy SEALs. Their morning routines, their checklists, their discipline, none of it is based on intention. They don't say, "I'll try." They don't say, "I hope." They don't say, "I want to." They operate inside a system that demands action. You need the same thing. Not the military training. Not the extreme conditions. You need the mindset that structure is freedom, not restriction. You need to understand this. The presence of structure creates momentum, and the absence of structure creates chaos. When you spend your days planning, imagining, dreaming, mapping out big goals on pretty boards, you feel inspired. You feel like progress is happening. You feel productive. But none of it is movement. It's mental entertainment. Dream boards create emotion. Structure creates momentum. Dream boards give you vision. Structure gives you transformation. You have a choice. Stay in fantasy or step into execution. Let me be direct with you. Your goals don't matter if they don't have a structure underneath them. Your dreams don't matter if your daily routine contradicts them. Your intentions don't matter if your actions don't follow a system. Every plan you've ever made fell apart for the same reason. It needed your permission. It needed the version of you that was excited. It needed the version of you that believed. It needed the version of you that had energy. But structure? Structure doesn't need any version of you. Structure just needs you to show up. Imagine two people. One wakes up and says, "Okay, what should I do today?" They check their mood. They check their inbox. They check their notifications. Their day is already lost. The other wakes up and steps into a pre-built structure. First hour, movement. Second hour, priority task. Third hour, strategic work. No decisions. No hesitation. No emotional negotiation. One is drifting. One is directing. One is hoping. One is executing. One intends. One structures. Structure over intention. That's the key. You don't need more inspiration. You don't need more motivation. You don't need a new planner, a new app, or a new technique. What you need is a daily operating system that removes choice and guarantees movement. Let me repeat that. A daily operating system that removes choice and guarantees movement. Because choice is where discipline dies. Choice is where hesitation grows. Choice is where your old habits reappear. Choice is where your plan collapses. When your life depends on choice, you fail. When your life depends on structure, you rise. Think about it like this. Every successful person you admire, every entrepreneur, every athlete, every leader, has one thing in common. They built a structure that supports their success long before the success appeared. Their structure created their results. Their structure created their identity. Their structure created their momentum. You don't need their permission. You don't need their talent. You don't need their background. You just need to stop planning and start structuring. Create structure for your mornings. Create structure for your focus blocks. Create structure for your meals, your workouts, your digital life, your rest. Because structure is not limitation. Structure is liberation. Structure frees your mind from confusion. Structure frees your energy from overthinking. Structure frees your day from temptation. Structure frees your life from the chaos of constant decision-making. You have a choice. Stay stuck in planning. Or build a system that moves you forward whether you feel like it or not. This is the transformation point. This is the divider between fantasy and progress. This is where average people stop and where disciplined people begin. You already know planning won't save you. That's why you're listening. You're here because you're tired of starting strong and fading fast. You're here because you're tired of relying on motivation that never lasts. You're here because you're ready for structure. And once your structure is built, your life changes. Not gradually, not someday, immediately. Because when structure comes in, excuses leave. When structure comes in, discipline appears. When structure comes in, momentum begins. When structure comes in, your identity shifts. This chapter is simple. Stop planning. Start structuring. Structure over intention, every time. You understand the difference now. You know what collapses. You know what carries you. Now it's time to build the system that will carry you into the rest of this audiobook. You've taken the first step. You've eliminated the illusion of planning. Now you're ready for the foundation you'll build upon it. Chapter 2. Build your personal operating system. You cannot trust your morning feelings. You cannot trust your morning motivation. You cannot trust your morning mind. That's why your morning must be ruled by a system, your daily OS. A daily operating system is simple. It runs the first 3 hours of your day automatically. No decisions. No negotiations. No emotional debates. You wake up and the system takes over. You wake up and the rules run the routine. You wake up and the day begins whether you feel ready or not. That's the key. You are removing you from the equation. You are removing your morning weakness, your morning confusion, your morning resistance. Because the truth is harsh but liberating. Your feelings in the morning are the most unreliable version of you. Your first thoughts of the day are often the weakest. Your morning mood is often the laziest, the softest, the most negotiable. But a system? A system has no mood. A system has no weakness. A system has no softness. When you build a daily OS, you declare, automate the important. Say it again, automate the important. What matters most cannot rely on how you feel. What matters most must be automated. What matters most must be protected from your emotional fluctuations. Every top performer knows this. Every creator who has produced for decades knows this. Every CEO who leads companies knows this. Every peak athlete lives this. They don't wake up and wonder what to do. They don't wake up and guess how to start. They don't wake up and debate whether today is the day. They begin. Automatically. Because their mornings are structured to protect their progress. Look at the world's top writers. They don't wait for inspiration. They write at the same time in the same place with the same ritual day after day. They built a daily OS and the OS produces the work. Look at powerful CEOs. They do not let the morning slip into chaos. Their mornings are a checklist of non-negotiables. Movement, thinking time, strategic focus. They built a daily OS and the OS produces clarity. Look at high-level entrepreneurs and creators. They know the first 3 hours determine the direction of the day. They protect those hours with structure, not emotion. You have a choice. Continue waking up into confusion, or build a system that takes control. Let's break down what a real daily OS looks like. R1. Wake, move, hydrate, reset. This hour is pure physical activation. Not optional. Not emotional. Not based on energy. It's the ritual that tells your body and mind, it's time to perform. Even the simplest version, stretching, walking, hydration, works, because the power is not in the intensity. The power is in the automation. Remember the phrase, automate the important. Your energy is important. Your clarity is important. Your physical activation is important. Hour 2, deep work on your highest priority. Not scrolling. Not reacting. Not checking messages. You go directly into your most meaningful task. This is where creators and leaders gain their advantage. While most people are still waking up, still drifting, still reacting, the disciplined few have already built 2 hours of momentum. That's the key. They don't wait to feel productive. They install productivity into their morning by default. Hour 3, strategy, planning, alignment. Not emotional planning. Not fantasy mapping. Real structure. This hour is where you decide what the rest of the day will look like, based on the system, not your impulses. You're no longer reacting. You're directing. That is what a daily OS does. It puts you in the driver's seat before your emotions have the chance to sabotage you. You have a choice. Let the morning shape your day. Or shape the morning so your day becomes predictable, stable, and consistent. Think of the people who struggle their entire lives. Most of them wake up and immediately fall into reactivity, checking their phone, checking their inbox, checking their social media. They let the world set their direction. They let the world set their pace. They let the world define their identity for the day. Because they have no structure. Because their morning depends entirely on how they feel when they open their eyes. But what happens when you wake up into a system? What happens when you wake up into a set of rules you created intentionally? What happens when your morning no longer belongs to your emotions? Progress becomes automatic. Momentum becomes automatic. Discipline becomes automatic. You don't need motivation. You don't need inspiration. You don't need to get in the right mindset. Your daily OS creates the mindset. And that's the power you've been missing. You don't need more motivation. You need architecture. You need structure. You need a system that runs without your permission. The daily OS is not a suggestion. It is the foundation of self-mastery. It is the structure that separates dreamers from doers. It is the routine that builds the identity you have been trying to reach with plans alone. You have a choice. Stay in emotional mornings, or step into structured mornings. Every top performer has made this decision. Every peak creator has made this decision. Every disciplined leader has made this decision. They automated the important. They protected the first 3 hours with relentless discipline. They removed choice from the morning because they understood choice was the enemy. When you automate the important, consistency becomes your default. When you automate the important, discipline becomes natural. When you automate the important, progress happens whether you feel ready or not. That's the key. Not motivation. Not hype. Not planning. Automation. Structure. System. You didn't come here to stay the same. You didn't come here to keep guessing your way through your days. You came here to build a life that works. A life that performs. A life that moves forward every single day. That begins with your daily OS. Automate the important. Automate the important. Automate the important. Say it until it becomes truth. You now understand the power of structure in your mornings. You now understand how top performers use automation as their secret weapon. You now understand why your emotions can no longer be in charge. This is the turning point. This is where your new identity begins. But your operating system is only the start. Now you must learn to think like a professional, not an amateur. You must build days that move with precision, not randomness. You're ready for the next step. Chapter 3. Design your days like a professional, not an amateur. There is a gap in this world, an invisible line that separates people who get results from people who talk about results. On one side are the amateurs. On the other side are the professionals. The amateur waits for inspiration. The professional builds systems that make inspiration irrelevant. You can hear it in their language. The amateur says, "I don't feel like it today." The professional says, "This is what I do." The amateur asks for motivation. The professional asks for the schedule. And here's the truth you must accept if you want your life to change. Professionals rely on consistent systems. Amateurs rely on inspiration. That's the key. Say it again. Consistency is a structure, not a vibe. You don't become disciplined because you feel focused. You become disciplined because you create days that demand discipline. Let me show you the difference. Two musicians, both talented, both capable, both passionate. The amateur practices when they feel inspired. They wait for the right mood. They wait for the creative spark. They wait for a moment that may never come. The professional practices at 7 a.m. every single day, in the same room, with the same setup, at the same level of intensity, whether they feel inspired or not. The amateur hopes for progress. The professional structures progress. Consistency is a structure, not a vibe. The professional knows this. The amateur avoids it. Look at your own life. Where have you been behaving like an amateur? Where are you waiting for the right feeling? Where are you hoping your mood will carry you? The truth is simple. Professionals don't hope. Professionals don't wait. Professionals don't negotiate. Professionals engineer their days so progress becomes automatic. You have a choice. You can continue living as an amateur in your own life. Or you can design your days like a professional, on purpose, with precision, with structure. Let's break down how professionals design their days. 1. Professionals control their environment. Your environment is not decoration. Your environment is instruction. Your environment decides what you do when you're not thinking. Professionals create environments that make the right action the easiest action. Amateurs create environments that distract, weaken, and sabotage them. The professional writer creates a space where writing is the only possible output. The professional athlete sets up their gear the night before. The professional CEO builds an office that eliminates noise and increases clarity. The environment becomes a silent command, a constant reminder, a non-negotiable cue. This is how structure works. This is how consistency becomes natural. And remember, consistency is a structure, not a vibe. 2. Professionals batch their tasks. Amateurs sprinkle tasks throughout the day. They jump from thing to thing. They respond instead of direct. Professionals batch tasks so their mind stays in a single lane. One block for communication. One block for creative work. One block for strategy. One block for execution. They don't allow every task to interrupt their flow. They don't allow small tasks to destroy focus. They don't allow the day to scatter their attention. Task batching protects the mind from fragmentation. Task batching keeps your mental energy clean. Task batching eliminates chaos. This is how professionals maintain power throughout the day. They don't rely on inspiration. They rely on architecture. 3. Professionals use momentum blocks. A momentum block is a period of the day that is sacred. A block where you do the most important work. A block no one is allowed to interrupt. A block where nothing else exists. Professionals schedule these blocks every single day. They protect them fiercely. They understand that momentum is not emotional, it's structural. Momentum blocks compound. Momentum blocks build confidence. Momentum blocks create identity. Amateurs wait for a moment of clarity to appear. Professionals create clarity through a structured momentum block. Again, consistency is a structure, not a vibe. You don't build momentum by waiting. You build momentum by showing up at the same time in the same space with the same commitment every single day. Let me be direct with you. Your life is not missing talent. Your life is missing structure. Your life is not missing inspiration. Your life is missing consistency. And consistency only appears when your days are designed like a professional's. You need a schedule. You need a flow. You need blocks of time that support your goals, not sabotage them. Let me give you a simple blueprint. Block 1, deep, uninterrupted work, your highest priority. Block 2, strategic planning, aligning your day with your larger structure. Block 3, execution block, delivering on your commitments. Block 4, communication and response, emails, messages, admin tasks. Block 5, reset, closing your day with intention, not exhaustion. When your day moves in blocks, your mind moves with purpose. When your day moves in blocks, your excuses lose power. When your day moves in blocks, your identity shifts. You have a choice. Keep living in scattered motion, or commit to structured days that make your success predictable. Professionals win because they design their days to support who they want to become. Amateurs lose because they design their days accidentally. Professionals operate from structure. Amateurs operate from emotion. Professionals move with consistency. Amateurs move with hope. Professionals execute. Amateurs intend. And remember the phrase that must embed into your identity: consistency is a structure, not a vibe. Your days must reflect the life you are trying to build. Your schedule must reflect the discipline you are developing. Your structure must reflect the identity you want to become. Because when your days are designed like a professional's, everything changes. Your confidence grows. Your discipline strengthens. Your output increases. Your identity evolves. You don't need more motivation. You need a professional approach to your daily life. You have the power to create it. You have the power to design it. You have the power to choose structure over emotion. This chapter leaves you with a simple directive. Stop behaving like an amateur in your own life. Start designing your days like a professional. Your environment matters. Your blocks matter. Your systems matter. Your consistency matters. And now that you understand how professionals structure their days, you are ready to build your identity from the inside out. Because professionals don't wait for discipline. Professionals build discipline through structure. Now you know the difference. And now you're ready to elevate to the next level of self-mastery. Chapter 4. Identity is a structure, not a label. You've been told your identity is who you are. You've been told your identity is what you call yourself. You've been told your identity is a label. I'm a writer. I'm an athlete. I'm a disciplined person. But here is the truth you were never taught. Identity is not a label. Identity is a structure. Your identity is built by what you repeatedly do, not what you repeatedly say. Your identity is built through action, through pattern, through consistency. Your identity is built through structure. That's the key. And you're going to hear this phrase until it becomes part of your thinking. You don't become it by saying it. You become it by structuring it. Say it again. You don't become it by saying it. You become it by structuring it. You can call yourself a writer for 10 years and never become one. You can call yourself an athlete for 10 years and never become one. You can call yourself disciplined, focused, intentional, but without structure, those are just words floating in the air. They have no weight. They have no substance. They have no force. Action gives identity weight. Structure gives identity shape. Consistency gives identity life. Look at the people who actually transformed themselves. Not the ones who talked about change. The ones who became something new. A writer who writes 300 words a day for a year becomes a writer, not because they said it, but because they structured it. An athlete who trains at 6 a.m. every day becomes an athlete, not because they declared it, but because they structured it. A disciplined person who follows a daily operating system becomes disciplined, not because they posted a quote, but because they structured it. You have a choice. Keep saying who you are, or structure yourself into who you want to become. Identity has never been about intention. Identity has always been about repetition. Repetition creates patterns. Patterns create structure. Structure creates identity. Let me show you how this works in real life. The writer example. There are two writers. One says, I'm a writer, but writes only when inspiration strikes. They wait for clarity. They wait for creativity. They wait for the perfect moment. The other writes 30 minutes every morning without fail. Even on tired days. Even on uninspired days. Even on messy, unproductive days. Which one becomes a writer? The one with the structure. Always the one with the structure. Because, as you now understand, you don't become it by saying it. You become it by structuring it. The athlete example. There are two athletes. One wears athletic gear, reads athletic books, talks about athletic goals, but trains inconsistently depending on mood. The other trains daily. Same time. Same space. Same structure. Even on days when the workout feels terrible. Even when the body doesn't want to move. Who becomes the athlete? The one who trains through structure, not the one who calls themselves an athlete. Identity lives in repetition. Identity grows through commitment. Identity is carved through daily action, not verbal declarations. The disciplined example. You want to become disciplined? Stop telling yourself you're disciplined. Stop waiting for discipline to show up. Stop hoping you'll feel disciplined tomorrow. Instead, build a structure that a disciplined person lives by. Wake up at the same time. Follow the same morning system. Eat intentionally. Protect your focus. Follow your daily blocks. End your day with a reset ritual. Do it repeatedly, daily, relentlessly, and slowly, quietly, consistently. You'll start becoming the disciplined person you've always said you were. Because again, you don't become it by saying it. You become it by structuring it. You have been conditioned to think identity is internal. But identity is behavioral. Identity is external first, internal second. Identity is not who you believe you are. Identity is who you prove you are through action. When you live inside a structure long enough, your brain adapts. Your self-image changes. Your confidence changes. Your inner dialogue changes. Your mind says, "This must be who I am now." Not because you said it, but because you lived it. Let's make this practical. Let's simplify identity into one sentence. Identity equals structure repeated long enough to become automatic. That's it. Not what you claim. Not what you post. Not what you hope for. Identity equals structure. If you want a new identity, you have one job. Build the structure that identity requires. If you want to be a writer, build the writing structure. If you want to be an athlete, build the training structure. If you want to be disciplined, build the routine structure. If you want to be focused, build the environment structure. If you want to be high-performing, build the daily OS structure. Identity is not magic. Identity is architecture. You must stop waiting for identity to appear. You must build it like a builder constructs a house, brick by brick, day by day, through structure. You have a choice. You can keep dreaming about your future identity, or you can build it using the system you learned in the last chapter. Let me be clear, you cannot think your way into a new identity. You cannot affirm your way into a new identity. You cannot speak your way into a new identity. You must structure your way into a new identity. Because in the real world, identity is not a belief system. Identity is a behavioral system. And once you install a structure that supports the identity you want, your actions shift, your confidence grows, your standards rise, your habits strengthen, your environment aligns, your momentum becomes natural. And suddenly, the identity you once declared starts becoming the identity you live. You don't announce it, you demonstrate it. You don't label it, you embody it. You don't say it, you structure it. And when you understand this, your life changes forever. Identity becomes predictable. Identity becomes stable. Identity becomes intentional. Because identity becomes a structure. You now have the truth. You know what actually builds identity. You understand the difference between labels and structure. And you're ready to step deeper into the architecture of discipline. Because identity transformation is only the beginning. Now you must eliminate the decision points that destroy discipline. You've built the identity foundation. Now it's time to protect it. Chapter 5. Remove the decision points. There is a moment, a small moment, a fragile moment, when your entire day can collapse. It's the moment right before action. The moment where you decide whether to do the thing or delay the thing. This tiny space, this little pause, is where discipline goes to die. This is the decision point. If you understand nothing else from this chapter, understand this. Discipline fails at decision points. Structure removes them. That's the key. That's the entire lesson you must internalize. And I'm going to repeat a phrase that will become your new mantra. Decide once. Say it again. Decide once. Decide once what your morning routine is. Decide once where your workout fits in your day. Decide once what you will eat. Decide once when you work. Decide once how you handle your phone, your notifications, your digital life. Decide once. Because the more you decide, the more you hesitate. And the more you hesitate, the more you lose. Discipline is never destroyed by difficulty. Discipline is destroyed by indecision. It's not the workout that's hard, it's the choice to start it. It's not the meal prep that's hard, it's the choice to do it. It's not the deep work that's hard, it's the choice to begin. You fail at the fork in the road. You fail at the decision point. And that means your solution is simple. Remove the fork. Remove the decision. Remove the point. Let me show you exactly how high performers do it. Pre-deciding meals. Successful people don't stare into the fridge hoping for motivation. They don't negotiate with themselves about what they feel like eating. They don't enter a daily debate with their cravings. They don't wake up and wonder. They pre-decide. They know exactly what they're eating on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They know what breakfast looks like. They know what lunch looks like. They know what dinner looks like. They build a structure that protects their body and eliminates the thinking. Why? Because decision-making is energy, and wasted energy kills execution. When you pre-decide your meals, you remove 20 micro-battles from your day. Your mind becomes free. Your discipline becomes stronger. Decide once, and you never negotiate again. Pre-deciding workouts. You want to know why most people fail at fitness? It has nothing to do with physical exhaustion. It has everything to do with mental hesitation. They ask themselves, should I go today? What time should I train? Maybe later when I feel better? And the moment those questions appear, discipline is already dead. Top performers don't ask questions. They don't debate themselves. They don't negotiate the schedule. They follow the structure. Workout. Same place. Same time. Same trigger. Every day or every scheduled day. They decided once. And the structure handles the rest. Decide once. Say it again. Decide once. Pre-deciding work blocks. Your productivity collapses every time you decide, what should I work on next? Where should I start? Do I really have to do this now? Those questions create friction, and friction kills momentum. Professionals block their time. They say, this is the writing block. This is the deep work block. This is the admin block. This is the content block. No debates. No feelings. No hesitation. The time is pre-decided. The task is pre-decided. The environment is pre-decided. You don't think your way into productivity. You structure your way into it. Decide once. And execution becomes automatic. Pre-deciding digital boundaries. This is the decision point that destroys more discipline than anything else. Notifications, messages, endless scrolling, dopamine loops. You tell yourself you'll just check one thing. One thing becomes 20. 20 becomes a spiral. And suddenly an hour is gone. What? Because you left the decision point open. You let your brain decide in real time. And your brain will always choose the easiest, fastest hit of comfort. High performers know this. So they eliminate the decision entirely. They keep their phone in another room when they work. They shut off notifications. They use Do Not Disturb as a default, not a special mode. They set time blocks for digital use. They pre-decide their boundaries so they don't have to fight temptations. Decide once. Because your discipline depends on removing this decision point more than any other. The truth about decision fatigue. Here's what most people don't understand. Your discipline does not run on infinite fuel. Your discipline drains every time you make a choice. Every time you decide, you lose a drop. Every hesitation, you lose another. Every debate with yourself drains you. And by the time you get to the actions that matter, you're empty. You're exhausted. You're done. That's why structure exists. Structure is not a constraint. Structure is a support system. Structure conserves your willpower. Structure protects your focus. Structure eliminates unnecessary thinking. Structure keeps your discipline alive. The fewer decisions you make, the stronger you become. The more you remove decision points, the more powerful you become. You need to understand something fundamental. Your brain loves shortcuts. And when you leave a decision point open, your brain will always choose the shortcut that leads to comfort. Always. Not sometimes, always. But when you pre-decide, when the choice is closed, when the structure already exists, your brain follows it automatically, without negotiation, without internal debates. And that is how discipline becomes effortless. Not easy, effortless. Because effort becomes focus, not decision-making. Decide once. Remove the decision points. Let structure take over. You have a choice. You can keep negotiating with yourself every day. Or you can create a life where the path is already set. People think discipline is about pushing harder. But the truth? Discipline is about reducing friction. Discipline is about eliminating choices. Discipline is about one decision that removes 1,000 future decisions. That is structure. That is power. That is freedom. You decide once, and let the system do the rest. We're building momentum now. You've learned why identity is structure. You've learned why decision points destroy discipline. Now it's time to take the next step. If you want to grow, you must eliminate the biggest leak in your life, your environment. You've handled your decisions. Now you must handle your surroundings. Chapter 6. The path of least resistance should lead forward. Most people live their lives fighting against themselves. They structure their environment so that the easiest choice is the worst choice. They wake up, reach for their phone, and scroll endlessly. They sit in cluttered spaces, trapped in chaos. They eat whatever is easiest. They move whenever it's convenient, or not at all. And then they wonder why discipline fails. Why progress feels impossible. Why goals never stick. Here's the truth. Your environment decides your actions more than your willpower ever will. That's why you must follow a simple principle. Make the easy option the right option. Say it again. Make the easy option the right option. Every high performer understands this. Every elite athlete. Every top entrepreneur. Every creator who produces consistently. They design their lives so that the path of least resistance leads forward. Most people do the opposite. Most people make the path of least resistance lead backward. Backward into distraction. Backward into temptation. Backward into wasted time. And that's why structure is useless if your environment doesn't support it. Let's break it down with examples. 1. Home setup. Your home should be a tool, not a trap. Remove distractions. Remove friction to good habits. Make the actions that matter effortless. Want to read more? Keep books visible. Want to exercise? Keep your gear ready. Want to eat healthy? Keep your fridge stocked with what fuels you, not what sabotages you. Most people do the opposite. They keep junk food front and center. They hide books. They make exercise inconvenient. Make the easy option the right option. If you want discipline, stop relying on motivation. Rely on environment. Stop negotiating with chaos. Start living in a space that supports progress. 2. Workspace design. Your workspace can destroy or create momentum. Cluttered desk? Chaos in your mind. Messy digital space? Friction in every click. High performers remove all unnecessary choices. They arrange their desk so everything they need is accessible. They remove notifications that pull focus. They create a system where the first action is obvious, easy, and correct. Make the easy option the right option. When you sit down to work, the system should guide your actions automatically. No debating. No procrastination. No internal negotiation. The right action becomes the path of least resistance. 3. Removing friction from healthy behaviors. Most people know what they should do, but they make it hard. Want to drink more water? Keep bottles on your desk. Want to stretch in the morning? Lay out a mat by the bed. Want to work out consistently? Set out clothes and shoes the night before. Every friction you remove is a drop of mental energy saved. Every decision you eliminate is momentum preserved. Every convenience you create is a step forward. Make the easy option the right option. Your environment should push you toward success automatically. 4. Social environment. Yes, your environment includes the people around you. Some people make success harder than it has to be. Toxic friends, energy vampires, constant distractions. These are decision traps. High performers limit exposure. They surround themselves with people who respect their time and standards. The easy choice becomes collaboration, learning, growth. The default path supports progress. Make the easy option the right option. Because most of life is spent choosing between convenience and discipline. Your environment should make convenience equal discipline. 5. Routines and triggers. The path of least resistance isn't just physical, it's procedural. Set up triggers to make the right action automatic. Morning coffee? Trigger deep work. Daily shower? Trigger mindset reset. Workout shoes by the door? Trigger exercise. Remove triggers that lead to bad habits. No phone in bed. No junk food at eye level. No cluttered workspace. Your routine should guide your day. Your triggers should do the thinking for you. Your environment should decide your next move automatically. Make the easy option the right option. Why this works? Discipline is limited. Willpower is finite. Motivation is fleeting. But environment? Environment is constant. Environment doesn't negotiate. Environment doesn't get tired. Environment doesn't fail. When your environment makes the right action easy, you don't need willpower. You don't need hype. You don't need reminders. You simply follow the path that's already been set. Most people ignore this. They complain about discipline. They complain about procrastination. They complain about motivation. All of it is their environment talking. All of it is the friction they created for themselves. All of it is their own path of least resistance leading backward. High performers don't complain. They design. They engineer. They align the easiest action with their goals. Make the easy option the right option. And your life will change automatically. Practical steps to take today. Walk through your home. Remove or hide distractions. Make the action you want to take easiest. Organize your workspace. Clear clutter, remove unnecessary choices, and set up triggers for productive work. Pre-decide routines. Plan workouts, meals, and deep work blocks so your environment signals the correct action. Audit your social space. Surround yourself with people who support your structure and block out those who don't. Use small triggers. Let your environment nudge you toward the life you're building. Every step is about structure. Every step is about removing friction. Every step is about creating a default path toward forward momentum. Make the easy option the right option. Not sometimes. Not when you feel like it. Every single time. Because momentum is built by the sum of tiny decisions made easy. Because your life is the product of your environment and systems, not your occasional bursts of willpower. Because structure wins over intention every single time. You have a choice. Make your life harder, or make your life automatic. Make it chaotic, or make it intentional. Make it random, or make it disciplined. Make the easy option the right option. It's not just advice. It's a rule. It's a foundation for every other system in this book. You've learned how to remove decision points. Now it's time to make the path of least resistance lead forward. Because every future action you take will be easier when your environment supports you. Your discipline is now unstoppable. Your focus is now protected. Your momentum is now automatic. Chapter 7. Systems that produce results without motivation. Let's get one thing straight. Motivation is a myth. It's a fleeting spark, a temporary feeling, a moment that rarely aligns with your schedule. Yet most people treat motivation like it's mandatory. They wait for it. They chase it. They think they need it to do anything worthwhile. Here's the truth. You do not need motivation to succeed. And the key phrase you must repeat until it becomes part of your operating system is this. Systems carry you when motivation disappears. Say it again. Systems carry you when motivation disappears. Think about it. How many mornings have you woken up with zero motivation? How many times have you stared at your goals, your tasks, your to-do list and said, I don't feel like it today? And what happened? Nothing. Progress stalled. Momentum died. You blamed yourself. But here's the reality. You weren't failing because you're weak. You were failing because you relied on motivation instead of a system. Let's break this down with real examples. 1. Weight loss through habit triggers. Most people believe weight loss requires motivation. They wait to feel inspired to eat clean. They wait to feel motivated to work out. And every time they don't feel it, they fail. Now look at someone who succeeds. They don't wait for inspiration. They set up habit triggers. The water bottle is on the desk. Drink first thing in the morning. Workout clothes are laid out by the bed. Put them on and move. Meals are prepped. No decisions, no negotiation. The system triggers the action automatically. The system carries them even when they feel tired, lazy, or uninspired. Motivation doesn't matter. The system does. Systems carry you when motivation disappears. 2. Productivity through environmental cues. Productivity isn't a result of how motivated you feel. It's a result of how your environment is structured. Top performers don't wait for motivation to write, code, or lead. They design their workspace to trigger the correct behavior. Clean desk? Signals focus. Laptop open to your work folder? Signals start. Phone in another room? Removes distraction. Calendar pre-blocked? Directs attention automatically. The environment does the work for you. It eliminates decisions, it eliminates hesitation, it eliminates reliance on feelings. Motivation disappears. The system remains. Systems carry you when motivation disappears. 3. Creativity through scheduled output. Some people think creativity can't be scheduled. That inspiration must strike. That genius is spontaneous. Wrong. The writers, the composers, the artists who produce consistently do not wait for inspiration. They schedule output. They block time for writing. They block time for painting. They block time for ideation. The act of showing up to the system forces creativity. The system produces results, even when the creative spark is absent. Motivation is irrelevant. The system is unstoppable. Systems carry you when motivation disappears. Why this works? Humans are emotional creatures. Our feelings fluctuate. Our energy fluctuates. Our focus fluctuates. Relying on motivation is like trying to sail a boat by wind alone. Some days the wind blows. Some days it dies. Your destination is inconsistent, unpredictable. Systems are the engine. Systems are the rudder. Systems are the oars that carry you forward regardless of wind, mood, or circumstance. The person with a system wins. Every single time. Systems don't care about fatigue. Systems don't care about distraction. Systems don't care about how you feel. Your task, your goal, your identity, all of it progresses automatically because the system produces results independent of motivation. How to build systems that work. Identify the desired outcome. What do you want? Weight loss, productivity, creative output? Write it down. Be specific. Map the triggers. Decide what environmental cues or habits will automatically produce the behavior. Water bottle for hydration. Clean workspace for focus. Scheduled time for writing. Automate the first action. The first action is the keystone. Once that action occurs, momentum carries you forward. Your system now produces results, not your mood. Remove friction. Every barrier slows execution. Pre-prepare meals, set your workspace, pre-plan your tasks. Make it easier to do the right thing than the wrong thing. Repeat consistently. Systems are not a one-time fix. They are a lifestyle. The longer you repeat, the stronger the results. The more the system carries you, the less motivation matters. Examples of real-world systems. Writers, 500 words every morning, same desk, same time, no exceptions. Inspiration irrelevant. Words accumulate. Athletes, 30 minutes of training every day, same order, same routine. Energy irrelevant. Muscles adapt. Performance improves. Entrepreneurs, daily deep work blocks, pre-decided agenda, digital boundaries. Focus maintained regardless of mood. All of them share one principle. Systems carry you when motivation disappears. Reinforcing the core lesson. You do not need motivation. You do not need inspiration. You do not need bursts of willpower. You need a system. A system that triggers action. A system that produces results automatically. A system that survives your low energy days. Motivation will come and go. Your system remains. Momentum builds. Results compound. Systems carry you when motivation disappears. Say it again. Systems carry you when motivation disappears. Your job now is to stop relying on feelings. Stop relying on bursts of energy. Stop hoping you'll feel like it tomorrow. Install a system. Protect it. Repeat it. And watch progress become inevitable. The person who depends on motivation struggles. The person who builds a system wins. Every single time. Systems are not optional. Systems are the backbone of every success story. They are the silent engine behind every result. They are the reason some people show up consistently while others fade. You don't need more motivation. You need more system. You don't need more willpower. You need more structure. You don't need inspiration. You need automation. Remember this: systems carry you when motivation disappears. Make it your mantra. Make it your rule. Build it into every aspect of your life. Your results will no longer depend on how you feel. Your results will depend on what you built. Your results will depend on the systems you install and repeat every single day. And that is how you become unstoppable. That is how you outlast every fluctuation in energy, focus, and motivation. That is how you move forward while others wait for inspiration that never comes. Chapter 8: The Power of Tracking, Not Judging. Most people sabotage themselves before they even start. By judging the outcome instead of tracking the process. They write a goal on Monday, lose 10 pounds, write a book, get organized. By Friday, nothing is perfect. They feel guilty. They feel like failures. They quit. Here's the truth you need to hear: judgment kills progress. Tracking builds it. Say it again: measure the action, not the outcome. Focus on the process. Focus on the repetition. Focus on the system, not the results. Let me explain why this is a game changer. 1. The difference between tracking and judging. Judging looks at what hasn't been done. It creates shame, frustration, and doubt. It makes you question your identity. Tracking looks at what you did. It reinforces structure. It creates momentum. It shows you exactly where you are in the system. You cannot control every outcome. You cannot control the reactions of others, the market, or random events. But you can control whether you show up. You can control whether you follow the structure. You can control whether you stick to the system. Measure the action, not the outcome. Say it again. Measure the action, not the outcome. 2. Streak tracking. Streak tracking is a simple, powerful tool. You record whether you completed a task each day, a workout, a writing session, a habit. That's it. No judgment. No debate. No, I'm not good enough. Look at the streak and you'll see momentum. Even if the output isn't perfect, the streak tells you, I showed up. Momentum compounds. Identity builds. Discipline strengthens. High performers track streaks. Writers track words per day. Athletes track workouts per week. Entrepreneurs track deep work blocks. They aren't judging the quality, they are measuring the consistency. Measure the action, not the outcome. 3. Habit logs. A habit log works similarly. Every action you take is recorded. A mark. A check. A note. It doesn't judge. It doesn't criticize. It simply shows the truth of your actions. This is powerful because your brain responds to patterns. Seeing a streak grow, even small marks, reinforces identity and structure. You become the person who shows up. You reinforce your system. You build momentum. Judgment, on the other hand, destroys this. Did I write enough? Did I do it perfectly? These questions make you anxious. They slow you down. They make you quit. Measure the action, not the outcome. Focus on showing up. Focus on the repetition. Focus on the structure. That's how transformation happens. 4. Process-based success metrics. Stop tying your identity to results. Stop defining yourself by the weight lost, the book finished, or the project completed. Instead, define success by actions that are within your control. Deep work completed. Meals prepped. Hours trained. Tasks executed. Process-based metrics remove frustration. They remove anxiety. They remove reliance on luck or random external events. Every day you follow the process, the system carries you forward. You create compound interest in progress. Results become inevitable over time. Measure the action, not the outcome. Repeat it. Internalize it. 5. Real-life examples. Writers, track words written each day. Not whether the story is perfect, not whether the chapter is finished. Track the action. Momentum builds. Writing becomes automatic. Athletes, track workouts completed per week. Not whether the session felt great or produced perfect results. Track the action. Strength builds. Stamina grows. Entrepreneurs, track hours in deep focus blocks, meetings executed or strategies implemented. Not profits, not recognition, not feedback. Track the action. Systems compound results. This is how winners operate. They focus on what they can control. They track, not judge. They repeat, not debate. 6. Reinforcing structure through tracking. Tracking reinforces structure. Judging destroys it. Every time you track, you prove the system works. Every time you track, you reinforce your identity. Every time you track, you create a habit that outlasts motivation, mood, or circumstances. Judgment, on the other hand, introduces doubt. Judgment introduces negotiation. Judgment introduces failure, even when the system works. You cannot build long-term discipline by judging results. You build it by tracking consistent action. Measure the action, not the outcome. Say it again. Measure the action, not the outcome. Your goal is to show up every day consistently. The results will follow. The momentum will grow. The identity will solidify. If you track streaks, logs, or process metrics, you no longer rely on feelings. You no longer rely on luck. You no longer wait for motivation. You follow the system. You follow the structure. You follow what works. 7. Implementing tracking today. Identify the key actions that drive your goals. Choose a simple method to record them. Streak calendar, journal, or app. Track daily without judgment. Mark the action completed. That's it. Celebrate consistency, not perfection. Momentum is the reward. Review weekly to reinforce patterns, adjust structure, and keep the system growing. This is how you make progress predictable. This is how you make results inevitable. This is how you master identity, discipline, and performance. Remember, measure the action, not the outcome. Do not judge. Do not debate. Do not negotiate. Track. Repeat. Reinforce. Grow. This is the power of systems. This is the power of structure. This is the power of accountability without judgment. You've learned how to design your systems, remove decision points, make the path of least resistance lead forward, and now how to reinforce it through tracking. The next step is clear. Now it's time to scale momentum into mastery. Chapter 9. Replace escapes with intentional recovery. Most people think rest is the absence of work. They collapse into the couch. They scroll endlessly. They binge watch, overeat, or zone out. They call it recovery. It's not. This is escape. Escape doesn't restore energy. Escape doesn't build focus. Escape doesn't strengthen discipline. Here's the truth you need to hear. Rest with purpose. Say it again, rest with purpose. Recovery is not avoidance. Recovery is not distraction. Recovery is intentional. Recovery restores your mind, body, and energy so you can perform at a higher level tomorrow. Escape is passive. Recovery is active. Escape drains you in the long run. Recovery refills your tank. You have a choice every time your day ends. Collapse into mindless consumption, or schedule intentional recovery. Choose wisely. 1. Structured downtime. Structured downtime is the opposite of chaos. It's planned, deliberate, and restorative. High performers schedule it. They know exactly when they will disconnect. They know exactly how they will recharge. This could look like a 30-minute walk outside after work, reading a book that teaches them something new, journaling to process the day. Structured downtime is intentional. It does not require guilt. It does not require escape. It is a system that replenishes energy. Rest with purpose. Say it again, rest with purpose. 2. Intentional resets. An intentional reset is more than stopping work. It's resetting your mind. It's separating productivity from burnout. It's creating a mental boundary so tomorrow starts fresh. Examples: evening meditation or breath work, a short nap with a timer, stretching or light movement to release tension. Notice the difference. This is action, not distraction. This is recovery, not escape. When you intentionally reset, your nervous system recovers. Your mind declutters. Your focus sharpens. Your performance tomorrow improves. Escape does none of these things. Escape only prolongs exhaustion. Rest with purpose. Because the stronger your recovery, the more unstoppable your next day becomes. 3. Avoiding mindless consumption. Most downtime is consumption without intention. Social media, streaming, endless scrolling, gaming without limits. This is escape disguised as rest. You feel like you're relaxing. You feel like you're taking a break. But your brain is overstimulated. Your body is not restored. Your energy is not conserved. Your focus is fragmented. High performers avoid this trap. They do not collapse into passive consumption. They do not fill downtime with shallow, meaningless stimuli. They replace mindless consumption with restorative, intentional activities. Examples: listening to a podcast that educates or inspires, reading or reviewing your goals, spending time outdoors away from screens. Rest with purpose. Make your downtime a tool, not a distraction. 4. Recovery as part of the system. Just as systems carry you when motivation disappears, your recovery must be part of your system. You cannot leave rest to chance. You cannot hope to feel like it after a long day. You schedule recovery as you schedule workouts, deep work, and meals. Your system now includes work blocks, decision point eliminations, path of least resistance design, tracking and accountability, intentional recovery. This ensures that energy is renewed, habits are reinforced, and momentum continues. Recovery is not optional, it is a structural component of performance. Rest with purpose. 5. Real-world examples. Athletes. Elite athletes schedule active recovery, stretching, mobility work, light cardio, not passive scrolling. Their recovery days are as structured as their training days. Writers and creators. They schedule mental breaks, nature walks, reflection, reading, to recharge creativity instead of endlessly consuming content. Entrepreneurs. They pre-plan downtime to reset focus and avoid burnout. No late-night doom scrolling. No mindless escapes. Recovery is intentional and measurable. Notice the pattern. Intentional recovery is a system. Escape is chaos. 6. Repetition as reinforcement. Let me repeat the core lesson. Rest with purpose. Not occasionally. Not when it feels right. Every single recovery period should be intentional. Escape gives temporary relief but long-term drain. Intentional recovery strengthens your mind, body, and focus. Intentional recovery preserves momentum. Intentional recovery is part of the structure that makes success inevitable. You must build recovery into your daily operating system. Not as a reward. Not as a luxury. As a non-negotiable part of the structure that protects your discipline and momentum. Rest with purpose. 7. Practical steps to implement today. Schedule downtime. Block it on your calendar. Treat it as non-negotiable. Choose restorative activities. Walking, reading, journaling, stretching, meditation. Avoid passive scrolling. Set boundaries. No work during downtime. No multitasking. No distraction. Track recovery. Use a simple log. Minutes spent, type of recovery, impact on energy. Review weekly. Evaluate if your recovery restores energy and focus. Adjust for better results. Intentional recovery is not passive. It is a tool. It is a system. It reinforces structure, discipline, and long-term momentum. Escape is passive. Escape is chaos. Escape erodes discipline. Rest with purpose. Repeat it, internalize it, make it non-negotiable. Your next day, your performance, and your life depend on it. You are building systems, tracking your actions, removing decision points, designing your environment, and now you are protecting your energy. Because every high performer knows, momentum without recovery collapses. Structure without rest fails. Discipline without energy is temporary. Rest with purpose. That is your rule. That is your system. That is your edge. Chapter 10. Make structure non-negotiable. This is it. The final step. The transformation that separates those who fail from those who succeed. It's not motivation. It's not inspiration. It's not occasional discipline. It's structure that becomes identity. Say it again. Structure that becomes identity. The moment your systems, your routines, your habits are no longer negotiable, you stop relying on willpower, mood, or motivation. You don't ask yourself if you feel like it. You don't debate with yourself. You don't wait for permission. You simply do it. This is just what I do. Say it again. This is just what I do. 1. Structure becomes identity. All the chapters you've heard so far build up to this. Stop planning and start structuring. Build your personal operating system. Design your days like a professional. Identity is a structure, not a label. Remove the decision points. Make the path of least resistance lead forward. Build systems that produce results without motivation. Track the action, not the outcome. Replace escapes with intentional recovery. All of these pieces converge here. The final transformation is when showing up to the system becomes automatic. You don't question it. You don't negotiate it. It is who you are. This is identity. Not what you call yourself. Not what you hope for. This is just what I do. 2. Building unbreakable commitments. If you want structure to be non-negotiable, commitments must be unbreakable. This is how you do it. Public declaration. Tell someone you respect. Tell your accountability partner. Tell your coach. Declare what you will do and set expectations. Schedule first, negotiate never. Your commitments are in your calendar. Your calendar is non-negotiable. The system is your default. Anchor to identity. Every commitment reinforces who you are. You don't skip because skipping would contradict identity. This is just what I do. The more unbreakable your commitments, the stronger your identity becomes. The stronger your identity, the less you rely on willpower. 3. Social accountability. We are social creatures. Our environment shapes us more than we think. When you surround yourself with people who respect your systems, your structure strengthens. When you have accountability partners, mentors, or teams, you are locked into action. The system becomes unstoppable. Example: a writer joins a weekly accountability call. Failure to show up is not optional. An athlete trains with a partner who expects presence at 6 a.m. Skipping is impossible. An entrepreneur shares weekly results publicly. Reporting requires action. Social accountability locks in your structure. This is just what I do. 4. Environmental cues that lock the system. Your environment is your silent enforcer. It either supports your structure or sabotages it. Make the right actions unavoidable. Gear out and ready for workouts. Desk prepped for deep work. Healthy meals prepared in advance. Tools, notebooks, and resources within reach. Distractions removed. When the environment enforces your system, skipping becomes harder than showing up. The right action becomes the default. This is just what I do. 5. The power of repetition. Repetition is the cement of identity. Do it consistently. Do it without exception. Do it until the action becomes reflexive. At first, structure feels rigid. At first, following the system feels effortful. Keep going. Repeat daily. Repeat weekly. Repeat relentlessly. Eventually, the system becomes natural. The effort fades. The identity solidifies. You no longer ask, should I? You no longer debate, do I want to? You simply do it. This is just what I do. 6. Mastery through non-negotiable structure. Non-negotiable structure is the foundation of mastery. The people you admire, athletes, entrepreneurs, creators, did not rely on bursts of motivation. They built unbreakable systems. They removed decision fatigue. They engineered their environment. They tracked their actions. They rested with purpose. They made structure non-negotiable. And that is how they became extraordinary. This is your path. Follow it. Commit to it. Repeat it daily. This is just what I do. 7. Practical steps to lock it in. Audit your systems. Make sure every habit, routine, and schedule supports your identity. Declare your commitments publicly. Social accountability amplifies structure. Optimize your environment. Remove friction, remove distraction, and make the right action automatic. Track your actions. Not outcomes, not feelings. Actions reinforce identity. Repeat relentlessly. Make showing up your default, not your option. Do this consistently. Your identity will align with your system. Your life will follow. This is just what I do. 8. Closing motivation and CTA. You've learned the entire blueprint. Stop planning, start structuring. Build your operating system. Design days like a professional. Make identity a structure. Remove decision points. Make the path of least resistance lead forward. Build systems that work without motivation. Track the action, not the outcome. Rest intentionally. Lock structure into identity. Now it's your turn. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for someone to tell you it's okay. This is just what I do. This is just what I do. This is just what I do. Lock it in. Show up. Repeat. Your identity will follow. Your results will follow. Your life will follow. If you want more strategies like this, subscribe now and hit the bell, because every week we break down the systems, structures, and behaviors that actually produce results. Now go. Build your unbreakable structure. Make it identity. This is just what I do.